Hey everyone, welcome back to White Sparrow Living, Luke 12:6. I'm Wendy, and I hope you like these Valentine's Day DIYs. For this project, I'm using 2 of the Love Wood cutout signs, a glass vase, and then 2 of the longer planks from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing I did was put my 2 words together, and then I want to cut down my planks to be the same length as the love sign. So I'm just going to make sure that they're flush and then make a line with my pencil. Now you can take this outside and cut it with your saw, or you can use a miter saw. I'm going to use a craft knife just to show you kind of how thin they are so that this can be done by hand and you don't have to go outside or have a saw. So I'm just going to cut that down and then just kind of crack it so that it breaks into 2 pieces. And then you can sand the edge so that there's no splintery bits and it's perfectly flat. So now I'm going to take my Waverly White chalk paint, and you can paint this whatever color you want. I'm just going to try and go with some neutrals for this project, but I think this would be really pretty in either pinks or reds, or even just leaving it natural, the color of the wood that it is. And then after I painted mine completely white, I sanded the edges so that some of that pretty wood tone would show through. So once everything is all nice and dry and sanded, I'm going to take a plank and put it up against the edge of my love sign and then use my brad nailer to attach it on the places where the word hits the wood. And you can find this brad nailer. Michael J got this for me for Christmas a couple years ago. It's so easy to use. And the difference between a brad nailer and just a regular nail gun is that the brads don't have an end like a nail does. You know, it doesn't have a nail head, so you can't see them and they kind of just get covered up. I'll show you that a little closer up in just a second. And as usual, all of the tools that I use in my videos, I'll have linked in the description box below, and you can also find it in my Amazon store. So once I get both words attached to the planks, I'm going to put them both together and make one big box, and then do the same thing with the brad nailer. And then again, if you don't have a brad nailer or even a staple gun or something, you know, if you don't have any major tools, you can always just use some permanent adhesive and then some hot glue to keep it in place. And I'm sure it'll stay together. It's just going to be a little stronger if you do use some kind of tool like this. And then to cover up where the teeny tiny holes are, here's a better look at the brad nailer. I just used my paint and just tapped it in there and it just goes away and disappears. So now I'm going to take some of Dollar Tree's little wooden hearts, and I decided to use some antique wax. I just painted it on them and then rubbed it off with, oh, this is such an ugly towel. Sorry about that. And they just look so pretty, nice and stained, and lets the grain of that wood show through. And then I'm just going to take my hot glue and put those on the side where it's empty. I would have put 3, but I didn't have enough matching ones, so it just came out 2. It's still super pretty though. But again, you can change the color on these and do it to whatever you're decorating in. And then I'm going to just pop my vase right inside. It fits perfectly. And then you can add whatever flowers or greenery you want to. Here I put in some Walmart and some Dollar Tree flowers, and I think they're so pretty. I love the cabbage roses that are from Walmart, and then some eucalyptus greenery also from Walmart. But I love how this turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. For this next project, I'm going to just cutesy up these little pot holders and dish towels from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using a microfiber cloth also from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to find a heart that I pulled off of another project, and I have a little stash of hearts, like a jar of hearts or a box of hearts, and use that as a template. And then I'll cut out 6 of them from this microfiber cloth, and I just used a pencil to trace around it. It doesn't even really write on it. It kind of just makes an indentation and you can see where to cut. and then I'm going to place those onto my pot holders and onto my dish towels. So I'm going to do 2 on the dish towels and then 1 on the pot holders, and it's kind of like, you know, you're cooking with love, but I thought this was really cute. Now you could leave this on just like it is, and I love the simplicity. I'm just using hot glue to place them onto my items. I thought about stitching these on using some red thread or yarn, but you'll see in a second I didn't, because I'm going to add a little bit more to it. So I just used the hot glue. These are obviously not going to be machine washable or functional. They're just more for pretties, but Dollar Tree has these adorable little felt hearts that have the stitching around it, so I thought it would be a little bit too much. But either way, however you guys want to do it, I think it would be sweet. And then I picked up a pack of these other hearts. These are little kits, and I'll show you how it goes together. I always have a bunch of projects in my second craft room for the kids so that they can do little projects whenever they come to grandma's house. So this is what this one is supposed to look like, but I'm just going to be using the little I love you banner. So what I did was on the top ones, I took the little diamond jewel off of it and then used the I love you banner and just glued that on top of the heart. And then on the other ones, I'll just leave that gem on there to give it a little bit of bling. And these are self-adhesive, so you just pull the backing tape off, and it's pretty good adhesive. I just went ahead and added some more hot glue and attached them to the rest of my hearts. Now these are just little S-hooks that I had laying around. You can find these at Dollar Tree. I'm not really going to leave it on the stove like I am in the reveal because it might scratch it if I'm actually using my oven. I don't use my oven, but when Michael J uses the oven. But these would be really cute, I think, sitting on the counter or just hanging if you have one of those bars at the end of your island or something like that. Just a super cute way to embellish your dish towels and pot holders and put a little more St. Valentine's Day into your decor. For this project, I'm going to be using one of these dowels from Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of, I think, 6 or so. And then 2 more of these little planks. These are a little bit shorter than the other ones that we used in our first project, or, you know, the love project. And then 2 of these little house plaques. Now for Valentine's Day, they have a few different options that you can use. I thought these were really pretty too, but I only got 1 of these. You could mix and match these or do whatever you want, but I'm going to use the 2 that are matching for this project. So the paper on top is kind of sometimes overlapping the edge of the wood, so I wanted this to be rustic and distressed anyway, so I'm gonna sand all of the edges. And then on my planks, I just used my red chalk paint in crimson, and I added a little bit of acrylic paint to it too because I'm kind of running low. Anyway, I'm gonna paint these completely red as well as the back of my plaques. Now I was worried about color matching that pink that's on the front of the house plaques, but it ended up coming out exactly the same, so I wasn't sure. I mean, you could paint this in whatever color you want, but the inside of my box is going to all be red. So we did red on the back, and then the little dowel at the top, which will be the handle, that's going to be the same pink as the pink on my houses. So now to attach my dowel, I'm going to need to drill a couple of holes into my plaques. And to do that, I wanted to plug my sweet friend Natalie from Design to the Nines. She just came out with her own line of power tool. This is a drill, and this drill is so adorable. I have to show you. It's called the ATHENA Lady Jane Power Drill. It comes in a Tiffany colored box with a sweet case that has a leopard print on the outside. The handle is a little smaller, so smaller hands, like women's hands, can actually grab around it. It's lighter in its weight. It comes with a battery and the drill bits that you can put in the little pouch inside. It's just so adorable, and I really want Natalie to do a great job. So I'll have this linked in the description box below so that you can order yours and give yourself a little girl power with your project and be pretty stylish too. So because we're using these plaques on opposite ends of my box, the little tippy tops of the houses are not going to line up exactly. So you don't want to put your holes right in the same spot on the back of the houses. So I just lined them up with a ruler and then made a little line, and then I know where to put the actual holes so that my dowel will be straight and my box won't be wonky. Now, one thing I should have done, my planks are a little bit shorter than what the dowel is, so I should have cut it down, but I didn't mind. I wanted this to look rustic and old and weathered is the word I was looking for. So I just went ahead and left my dowel the full size. And then all I did is I took my brad nailer and I'm going to attach those planks to the sides of my houses. And I didn't cover those up either. So now for the bottom of my box, I just used a scrap piece of foam board from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to trace that out from the inside of my box and cut it out. And then it actually fit pretty tightly in there, but I went ahead and used some hot glue to make sure that it stayed in place. Of course, you're not going to want to put anything super heavy in here, but we're just going to be putting some Dollar Tree and Walmart florals in here, so that's not a lot of weight and it'll hold just fine. And then once I got my box all put together, I'm going to take some of that extra pink paint and put it on the sides of my planks, which I forgot to paint, but that worked out well because I don't think it would have been as pretty with the red on the sides. But again, this is super rustic. I'm going to give it some more of a sanding over that red paint just to make it more weathered and pretty and farmhouse looking. And then when I was drilling the holes for my dowel, I accidentally went a little too far on one of the houses. So I'm just going to take a pretty little wooden heart from the Dollar Tree and cover that up, which I thought was pretty cute, even if I wouldn't have made a mistake. And then I'm going to take some pretty Dollar Tree and Walmart flowers and greenery and just pop those right inside of my box, kind of moving the greenery around the sides of the handle so that it's in and out and it stays in place. I didn't even take the tags off of some of them, but here it is all done. And I just think this is so sweet and it was so easy. Again, you can do this completely with glue and maybe some E6000 to keep it all in place, but I love the simplicity of it, and I love how pretty and pink and red it is. Super easy to do. I love it, and I hope you guys like it too. So for this project, I'm going to be recycling an old sign that I did a couple of years ago. It was a piece of cardboard or the stuff that goes on the back of a shelf. We put the shelf together, but I didn't want the backing on it. So I kept that knowing I would use it at some point, because remember, it's not hoarding if you use it. And so I used it to make this pretty sign. It was a farmhouse sign that I kept in the house for a long time. And then my daughter had it for a long time. But it said, "As for me and my farmhouse, we will serve the Lord." So all I did was I took that piece of wood, or whatever it is, particle board, something less than particle board, but whatever it is, and then I took some 1x1s and just cut pieces, stained them and sanded them down, and then put those on the top and the bottom of my sign. It was really pretty and I loved it for so long, but then my daughter wanted to use it for Cadence and Kendall's room, and so I'm going to redo it by taking off all of the lettering. Actually, she took off all the lettering, so she has a more patient heart than I do. And then I'll just use that for another sign. So you can see here how I put it together. I'll have the original video linked in the description box below, but this was a super easy project, and just remember not to throw away those backings of the shelf if you don't use them. Anyway, I'm going to clean it all up and get it all ready to go, and then I cut out my verse on my Cricut, and I did that in black, and then I'm going to be using a pink heart in the background. So this is going to go in their room, and it matches and everything with the walls, which I'll show you in just a second. So I cut out a really large heart on my Cricut, and then I'm going to put that down first and then put my letters over it, and then I'll embellish it. So the verse I'm going to be using is, "We love because he first loved us." And that's 1 John 4:19. And I've used this scripture a couple of times in a couple of Valentine's Day projects. So I'll have those linked down below as well if you want to get some more Jesus into your home decor at Valentine's Day and kind of display the true meaning of love. So I'm laying down my heart with my transfer tape, and then I'm going to use my squeegee to get out any of the little bubbles or imperfections. And then I'm going to put my words right on top of that. And I broke them apart to make it a little bit easier to lay them on this sign because it's such a big sticker. And then once I get it all down and my scriptures on there, I took some Walmart cabbage roses and glued those to the corner just to give it some more pretties and dimension, and then added some greenery. And then I took a cross from the Dollar Tree, and I've used these before, but I just want the top part of this cross. So I'm going to use my Cricut spatula to pull that out. There's just some little brads holding it on, and I had one from another project. So I'm going to turn it over and use the raw wood sign, and then just hot glue that onto the middle of my scripture. And the fonts that I used for the words love and loved is Autumn and November, and then for the rest of it, it's American Typewriter. Those are from, well, Autumn in November is from defont.com, and then American Typewriter, I think that's just on everything. But anyway, here it is all finished, and I think this is so pretty. I'm going to show it to you in her room. So Cadence is a little bit older, so we have the big girl's side, and I love these big flower decals that Christine bought online. I'll have that linked in the description box below. The rosary was a Dollar Tree DIY I did a while back, and that painting my Aunt Jeannie did a lot of years ago, so it was perfect for this room. And here's Kendall Sue, my sweet little number 4, we call her. She's so sweet, and she's in her little kitchen. Their room isn't really finished yet, and I will include that in a video of some sort because we have to do some shelves that I've already started on but haven't finished, and I'll show you the process of that. Look at her, she's so sweet. But here it is on their wall again with those big beautiful decals behind it, and just the essence of girly girl. It's just so sweet. I love it, and I hope you guys like it too. I hope you enjoyed all of these projects, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think. If you're not already, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button down below, as well as the little bell right next to it, so that you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and remember to always be the light. Bye!